a business and investment and life coach. He joins me now from Kenya. We'll be talking about building wealth in uncertain times. Welcome to you, Dr. Stephen Akitayo, and thanks for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Okay, let me start by asking you. I know you are the convener of Global Wealth Festival.com. You're an investment coach, a life coach. I'll be coming to that in a bit. But I want to start my questioning by asking, what was the original impetus for the Global Wealth Festival? And why do you think this is significant for Nigerians at this time?
Very good question. So we realized that a lot of us as Africans struggle with the concept of wealth creation. Originally, wealth started with Africa, and that's why we're not surprised that most of the minerals in the world are in Africa. But of course, the white man came, gave us religion, took our wealth, and told us to prepare for heaven and forget about building wealth. So we need to get back to the concept of realizing that there's nothing bad about building wealth, nothing bad about money. There's so much you can do when you're broke. Too poor people cannot help themselves. And money takes the color of the owner. If you're good, money in the hands of a good man is good money, and he will do good things with it. Money in the hands of a bad man is bad money, and he will do bad things with it. So we want to change the mindset. We see our people, even in diaspora, and that's why this is a global event. The Dallas version in the US, the London version, and we're doing Lagos. In February, we're doing Dubai. We realize that even our people in diaspora are still struggling with $15 an hour, $10 an hour, instead of taking ownership, instead of thinking owning companies, owning businesses, investing, even in diaspora. So we're changing that mindset, because ultimately it takes wealthy citizens to have a wealthy nation.
Dr. Akitayo, you said quite a lot of things, and let me interrogate further, especially the aspect that you said that, Africans are being sold now, or we have this mentality of poverty, so to speak, and humility in poverty, and we see rich people as, or if I'm poor, I would go to heaven. I hope you understand what I'm saying. But what will it change? Yes, what will it change for, what will make us change that mindset? For example, I do this show every weekday, Monday to Friday, to bridge the gap of financial inclusion, financial literacy, money-making, decisions, for you to be money-making smart, financially savvy, and all of that. And I've realized over the years that even some professors in the university, even, high people, there's a gap. They don't have that knowledge. They don't have that with all. So what is the missing link really?
Well, by the way, I'm a big fan of your show. I've been, following for over 10 years.
I have been on my show today.
Fantastic job. And I'm humbled by your consistency. You're still there.
Thank you. You've got to be consistent, man. You've got to be consistent. You've got to continue to push at it,
Exactly. You're very right. I think the issue is that religion didn't help matters, right? I mean, you'll be shocked that Nigeria is said to be the most religious nation in the world, but the poverty capital of the world. Because religion plays into that mix, particularly the type of religion we decide to accept, which is that the poorer you are, the holier you are. And that's pure nonsense. Politicians also haven't helped, because it's difficult to govern a wealthy nation. And America has shown us that, because the citizens will have a mind of their own. But when they are poor, now you can use some stomach infrastructure to control them. It's easy to control them with manipulation and money and things and inducement. So I think this religion politics is part of the reason why this continue to grow. In Africa, leaders believe the prove your leader is to dominate your people. Now, in order to climb, to prove you're a leader, is to dominate things and not people. So our mindset change that what makes me a leader is that I dominate in the healthcare sector. I'm able to come up with the best solutions there. I dominate in the real estate sector. I'm building the best infrastructure. And you see, it's just like Dubai. That's what's happening there. It's not dominating another human being. Rather, it's being able to dominate things and not people. So it's a mindset, and that's why conferences like this are changing that mindset. And that's what we needed. I've written 37 books. One of my latest books, Billionaire Habits. And the habits that makes you wealthy needs to begin to put out there. Plus, most Africans have never really seen a rich man. What they've seen is a politician who stole their money and is in multiple convoy. So the mindset is ultimately that the proof of wealth is just behaving in a certain way. So we don't even really understand what does it even mean to be wealthy.
And let me come to that question, because you just took it out of my mouth. That what exactly is wealth? Money is just one dimension of wealth. To your own understanding, I like the fact that you said you've written 37 books, and I know that you also started like your humble beginnings. I know you started your business with like $10 or so. Your mom is a civil servant. Your dad's business crumbled at the time to where your business is right now. So this show is a bit practical to tell Nigerians that you can actually start the convener Global Wealth Festival, an investment, and a life coach. Dr. Kitayo, you were talking earlier before the network. I just hope the network will be friendly to us today. That's one of the things we suffer here in Africa. But it's okay. Dr. Kitayo, can I see you? And you were actually explaining the concept of wealth.
Yes, so I was explaining that wealth is transgenerational. Wealth is not just about money, it's beyond money, but part of it is the ability to exchange value for cash, and it's transgenerational. So ability to make, manage, multiply, and transfer the wealth from one generation to the other. And when we talk about wealth, it also has to be in its entirety of how you made it. Right? Because wealth includes good name. They say a good name is better than silver and gold. And in the real core foundational African culture, in fact, wealth is your name. You know, is the ability for your name to even be stronger than money. And that's really wealth. So it's unfortunate that all that value have not been taught in recent times. And all that we're just teaching when it comes to wealth is just money. Money, in a sense, is just paper. And so real wealth is way more than that. It's transgenerational, it's the value system. And that's why people are really wealthy. Sometimes you see third generation wealth, fourth generation, because it goes into years and years and years. And those are the things we're promoting, we're teaching, and we know, like I said earlier, it takes a wealthy citizen to have a wealthy nation.
Okay, Dr. Kitayo, let's move ahead with, I know that you've had even your conferences in different parts of the world. What has really been your recorded impact in places like Dallas, in the US, the UK, where it happened in July and September?
So we had a great time. We had Dallas. One of our speakers was Grant Cardone, who has over $8 billion in real estate assets. And it was shocking for a lot of because most of people in the room were black. To even get to hear a man who's worth $8 billion. Well, how do such people think? How did they get to where they are? And the testimonies are amazing. And it just opened people up to the fact that there's so much possibility and they could do great things. In London, we had different speakers. In fact, one of the speakers we had in London was two-time Guinness Book Award winner, Alexandra Musu, for the most expensive suit, most expensive phone. He was one of the people who put Afrobeat in ringtone, started ringtone with Afrobeats. Born in the UK, but Nigerian, of course. How did he get there? People were shocked hearing his story. Because a lot of time when you hear about rich people or successful people, you think it was all rosy, it was all easy. And so for most people hearing the journey and the processes, I mean, it was just mind-shifting for them. And we're excited because I want to see a day that black will be synonymous to wealth. And we've seen with some race. Some race today, when they appear, it's almost as if everyone in their race is wealthy. Enough of black being synonymous to lack. And for that to change, the mind has to change. We need to begin to celebrate people who have made it legitimately and understand that there's nothing wrong about making money as long as the source is genuine and as long as you're able to do good things with it. And when the mind changes, over time people will start seeing it happening. And again, we need to, those who are wealthy legitimately need to write book. Imagine Dangote doesn't have a book on how he made it. I'm willing to work with Dangote on that. But it's important. The book won't give him anything, but it will teach young people that, look, these were the principles. The man worked so hard. I mean, some of his interview talk about working 16 hours a day. Most people don't know that. Some people just think he's a lucky man handling people in government. So you have to be, those who are successful have to come out, because what young people need is hope. You know, why are people jumping, as we call it? It's that hope is, there's just no hope. There's no hero. There's nobody to look up to and say, okay, politicians have disappointed me, but are there other people that I can just look up to and can say, okay, if they made it, I can make it?
Now that brings me to the question, which I like this foundation which you've laid, that there's a great deal of uncertainty in the business and finance community right now. As 2023 Nigerian elections approach, what do you think about this situation? And you mentioned the syndrome of the Japa syndrome. How do you think that the younger generation can build financial security?
So the darker the environment, the brighter the light. And that's part of what we're trying to teach people, that look, there's so much opportunity in Nigeria. The kind of profit margin you will make in Nigeria, you won't make it in Dubai, you won't make it in the US. And I operate in those places. Our company is in the US, is in the UK, is in Dubai, as well as here in Nigeria. Yes, there's stability in those parts of the world. Yes, there's certainty, but the profit margin can't be compared to what you get in Nigeria. So it's time for us to look inwards and ask ourselves, in this dark, bad environment, how can we still create change? Because our politicians, our leaders are a reflection of the people. If we keep going to elections and we keep voting, and each time it looks as if the next government is worse than the previous, that tells us there's something fundamentally wrong with the people themselves. And is it that we're not looking inwards? Are we not looking at what we have and how we can transform that? So for us, it's preaching a message of hope, sharing our own personal experiences. Omojua will be there, how he has used digital marketing, right, to build wealth. Dele Momodu will be there, how he's used, journalism to know people all over the world. Cosmos Maduka started with 200 Naira 40-something years ago. He's going to be sharing his story at the Global Wealth Festival. Of course, we have Les Brown, who was called the Dumb Twin, become arguably the number one motivational speaker in the world. We have Brian Tracy, we have Robert Kiyosaki. So for Les Brown, Brian Tracy, and Robert Kiyosaki, they're going to be teaching us in the recorded sessions. We recorded their videos, and it's going to be aired during the conference, while others will be reaching out to us live and sharing their story. So for me, what I love about the conference is that it's practical. The people there are just here to share. Zelicious is a lady who just started cooking. She was frustrated during career, right? And then started cooking. And before you know, she's on DSTV, she's earning so much. So there's opportunity. Look at what's happening in our entertainment industry. Like, there's no country I've visited, even Kenya. They play more Nigerian music than their local music. See what's happening with the movie industry as well. Netflix is here, Amazon Prime is here. So there's so much. We just need to look inwards. But importantly, what we are providing is the hope, is the example. Those who are there, that the Freeze will be there as well to share his own story. So we're bringing people who have something tangible to show and to share about their journey.
Now, from what you've said, what distinct qualities do you believe Nigerian leadership lacks? Because you've spoken a lot about politicians and what have you, and which can easily be addressed by business leaders. Do you think that there's enough synergy and nexus between the business community and Nigerian leadership?
No, definitely, absolutely no. I mean, we all are watching the Twitter saga, and how a politician even attacked Elon Musk. I don't know whether you saw that recently. And he just went to our campaign website and screenshot how much she's charging for t-shirts, right? Dragging it down to what is she using the funds for. But I think business people bring in accountability, and we lack that in our political world, right? Our politicians are just not accountable. It's just too much impunity. And I think sometimes also the fact that they don't want to be checkmated, they don't want to be corrected. I don't think all of us who are into business are interested in politics, but we're all interested in governance. And I think one of the things that I want to see with our political class, that once you're done with your political, dramatise, can you bring the business community in? I'm not talking about your normal, during election, you got to meet the business community and tell us stories, and after election, bye-bye, until another 4 years again. That's not what I'm saying. When you win, can you get the people in the business community to say, I may not make you minister or commissioner, but what are the best ideas to solving the power problem? Because you are a key person there. What's the solutions to solving the real estate issues? That's several sectors. Because the whole concept of being a leader, you are not the best. It's your ability to manage good people that makes you a great leader. It's not because you are the best of all. And I think we lack that in Africa. We lack that in our political system. And I hope that the next government will be willing to engage the business community in terms of, hey, you guys are in this. Look at what happened with Singapore. Lee Kuan Yew gathered the top CEOs and say, hey, I need you to fix this nation, right? It's either you're going to continue to focus on the little money you are making with your company, or you want to come and help us run this nation like a business, the same way you run your business successfully well. And until that begins to happen in Africa, we'll not get the leadership right. We have to run business, governance like a business, and make sure we're talking about profitability, we're talking about impact, we're talking about value for money at every level.
You mentioned some speakers that will be at the festival, and you mentioned some of their characteristics. Of course, for some people that started very, very humbly. What other characteristics were considered when selecting the speakers? Because when it comes to issues like this, a lot of people will say, "Don't give me fish, but teach me how to fish." And for you to teach somebody how to fish, you must know yourself the techniques of fishing itself,
Absolutely. For us, number one was that, like Yoruba would say, in other words, whoever will design clothes on you, you have to check what they're wearing. So for us, first of all, was that we wanted speakers who have results. Starting with myself, I started a company with just $10, 1,000 naira. And we built it into we're in 4 continents and still expanding. And it started here in Nigeria 14 years ago. And so if I can do it, a lot of other young people can do it as well. And so we selected people and they are focusing on their field. We have keynote sessions and we have panel sessions. So we have real estate panel session. We have the investment and entrepreneurship panel session. And then we have the skill monetization session. So that's where the Dan Freeze, the Delicious, and several other Omojua are speaking. Like, how have these people been able to monetize the skill that they have, over the years? There's a lot of talented young people, but they don't know how to monetize it. They don't know how to monetize their talent and turn it into money. So we have 3 panel sessions. We also have a networking dinner session. That's for those who get the VIP ticket and above, where you're able to network with virtually most of our speakers will be there as well. And you're networking with them because your network determines your network. The truth is that anywhere in the world, your bank accounts, your bank balance is average of the 5 closest people to you. You can never be richer than the quality of people around you. It's just the way life works. So if you want to be wealthy, you're not okay where you are, then you want to network upward and begin to have people who are way wealthier. And I've said it over time, 2 poor people can't help themselves. It took my mother dying of cancer and not being able to take care of her for, the reality to dawn on me that there's nothing glamorous about poverty, right? And if you just don't have money, even the good on your inside will not come out. You lose good things, just because you can't just afford to do the right thing. So we hope this, is a movement as far as I'm concerned, and it will take some years, but we know this has come to stay.
Just like you said, your humble beginnings for your company, which I know is GTEx Holdings, making waves internationally in countries like Dubai, there's UAE, US, and the UK. I want to really ask, what is the biggest point that is available in those economies where you operate that can be customized here in Nigeria?
Very good question. I think number one is running, governance like a business. I've always shared how I go to some of these government offices and you think you're in a bank. You even have to rate the performance of the official that attended to you. Maybe you want to renew your business license or you want to do so. And you literally ask yourself again, am I in a government building or something's wrong here? Right? The level of customer service, it's just amazing. You don't need to know anyone to get things done. And until we start putting that in place, ease of doing business will still become something, just a need in Africa and Nigeria. Also is the ease of access to funds. I remember opening a corporate account in the US. First question was, how much loan will you be needing? And I'm like, open the account first before asking me about loan. You won't get that here. And even if you're going to get the loan, it's at interest rates that is literally going to kill your business before you get started. We have to find a way to make funds available. CBN is talking about not being able to account for over 2 trillion naira because probably people are stacking those money somewhere. These are funds that you can release to the business community to keep the economy moving. And I hope that, again, we can do nothing but just hope in this part of the world. We can do nothing but just hope that we get it right. A lot of people have even asked me, do you want to go into politics? I said, I really don't think that is the priority right now because I think the mindset is still wrong. It's like you have a bunch of 12 oranges and they're all rotten. It's difficult to say you'll keep picking each time and you get a good one. So the mindset of the people need to be fixed first. And I want to invest more in that before even thinking of, because even if a good man leads the nation, if he doesn't have the critical mass to create a change, you just become another nuisance. So we hope that we become that critical mass that begin to turn the tides of this nation.
Now, we've seen recent happenings. For example, the UAE have banned, or is it Dubai, banned Nigerians from coming. Ethiopia has said no visas for Nigeria. I also do know, okay, you're in Kenya, whether Kenya is also mulling that right now. So a lot of people in the diaspora have mentioned issues of mistrust of Nigerian citizens. What recommendations really would you offer to the current Nigerian government as a global business owner in the context of a global marketplace for us to be respected as Nigerians really?
Well, one of the things I've often shared is that the way international politics works is that nobody really likes the next person. They only like the value you bring to the table, right? I mean, look at what's happening in the UK. It started with having a Pakistani mayor in London. We have an Indian prime minister. But guess what? The guy is richer than King Charles. So